Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV, and it's time for your weekly wrap-up. And I want to first thank our latest Patreon, however you pronounce it, supporter, Brendan McCleary, who contributed to the channel. So thank you, Brendan, for your contribution. It is greatly appreciated. And I'll talk more about Patreon, depending on how you pronounce it, later on in the show. So I put in a pre-order for this thing. This is called the Lily drone, and it looks rather interesting to me. So what you do with it is you basically throw it up in the air, and it will launch itself, essentially. And then you put this thing on your wrist, and it will follow you or follow ahead of you or do some other cool shots as well. So it's supposedly going to be very simple to set up and operate. You don't really have to program it or anything. You just set the mode, put this thing on your wrist, and you're off and running. I'll fast forward a little bit here to a shot with the little wrist unit there. So it's got a waterproof bracelet that you put on, a rather large thing, but I think it needs to be so the drone can see you. It's also waterproof, they say, and that comes at the expense of a replaceable battery. So once the battery dies, you have to charge it before you can use it again. But it will do things like follow, it'll do things like lead, and this is all kind of the Kickstarter, crowdfunding pitch video here, so we'll see exactly how it works when it shows up. The one thing it doesn't do is obstacle avoidance. So if you're out in your yard and you got trees and stuff or people around you, it will fly into those things, so you have to be very careful about that. But we'll see what it does. It's going to show up probably around February or March, so we have some time to look forward to it, and the holiday season will pass, and we'll have something interesting to check out later on in the year. I'll put a link below to their website. The problem with it, though, is if you put in the contribution for their crowdfunding campaign, they take the money out immediately, so this is a leap of faith. So I'm going to be taking that leap of faith on your behalf, and we'll see what happens later on this winter. This week, we've got some interesting stuff. The new business line of WD MyClouds is out, and we're going to be taking a look at their quad bay device, as you can see here. So we're going to see how this one differs from the new EX line as well as their consumer products too. So we'll see kind of the whole gamut of the WD MyCloud line. Finishing up with this one. I'll probably do some other stuff with the MyClouds coming up also, because they now have quite a few options in the product line, and I'll do a video or two or three maybe differentiating some of the features for everyone to check out. I also got this little camera, this Xiaomi camera. This is a company in China that doesn't yet sell here in North America, but there are a number of sellers who are selling their products to the domestic market here in the United States. So this is a little action camera that I think is pretty cool. It's got 1080p 60 mode, so it kind of lines up with the more expensive GoPros. Really nice image quality. There's not too much image stabilization, but it's got a lot of nice features. It's not some like cheap generic camera. It's actually a really nice camera for the price. I think it's around $60 or $70 depending on where you buy it. So we'll be talking about this. Hopefully I'll be shooting that one tomorrow or Wednesday, so look out for that when we get that one up. And I'm thinking about doing a Camcorder 101 video, kind of along the same vein as my Plex 101 and my NAS 101, because I've been looking at a lot of camcorders over the years, and I get a lot of questions that kind of come up all the time. So I was thinking about kind of doing a real brief explainer about exactly what to look for when buying a camcorder, some of the features and some of the different settings you can put in for the different video quality modes. And I'd love to hear from you as to what questions you would like to see answered in a video like this, just to make sure I kind of cover all my bases on that particular tutorial. So be on the lookout, but also please let me know if there's things that you'd like to know more about that I can cover in that video. I also had a question too, because I think this is like a generational thing now that I'm getting older, is this 1080p 60 stuff. So I get the 60 frames per second thing with video game footage, because certainly you're running high frame rate games, you want it to look really smooth and very fluid. But for video, I haven't really seen the value of it myself. In fact, I think it looks cool, but it's a lot of it is like 1080i or 1080p that's just kind of frame doubled to 60 and doesn't always look that good. But I'm hearing from more and more people that want to see my content in 60p. My equipment doesn't yet support that. Of course, I just bought this stuff about a year ago, so I may have to buy more to get myself up to that level. But I'm just curious, what do you see in 1080p 60 that is really valuable, especially from a video standpoint? I'd just love to hear your thoughts on that, because I really like the 24p film look. That's my favorite thing. And whenever I get a new television that's got the 120 hertz thing, I turn it off immediately, because it makes all my film look like video, and it really to me looks lousy. So I'd love to hear, though, your thoughts on it, because I am always wanting to keep up with what things people are looking for on their videos there. If you want to help the channel, you can. You can go to my Patreon page, or Patreon. Somebody pointed out to me that it's pronounced Patreon, and I was always calling it Patreon, so that's why I keep using both pronunciations. So you tell me if I'm doing the right one. But you can head over to Lon.TV/Patreon and make a monthly contribution to the show. Or if you want to just do a one-time thing, I can take funds over at YouTube Fan Funding, which you can find at Lon.TV. And I use these funds to help pay for the things that I buy to review on the show, because I buy a lot of the things that you see me review. I then resell them, and I lose a little bit on that transaction. So every little bit helps, and this fund kind of helps fund some of those cool things that I buy to review on the channel. I'm always looking for your suggestions about what I should look at, whether you contribute or not, because I'm always looking for neat little gems out there that no one else is really thinking about. So that will do it for this week's weekly wrap-up. Again, you can always engage with me via email, lon.tv/email for my email list. We've got the Facebook page, lon.tv/Facebook. And we have, of course, the forums that I'm really trying to get more people into. I know you got to register and everything, but it's really a fun place where all of us can kind of gather and chat with one another. So I'm hoping to get more folks on there. So lots of ways to connect, lots of things coming up, and I'm always open to your suggestions and comments. So leave them below, or leave me a note on the forums too. This is Lon Seidman. Thanks for watching.